let's talk about spuds. So depending on when you're watching this video, International Potato Day is either now, so happy International Potato Day, or it's coming up, or it's been and gone. Either way, today's video is all about celebrating the potato. And I can't think of a better gift from nature's pantry to the culinary world than the potato. It's so incredibly diverse. Do you want French fries? Do you want boiled potatoes? Do you want mash? Do you want a rosti? Do you want some roast potatoes? How about some dauphinoise? How about some chips or crisps? It's seemingly the things you can do with a potato are only limited by your imagination. Alright, shut up Billy, this is a family channel. Double entendre aside, the potato is a fantastically diverse vegetable to add to your diet. It's got more vitamin C than an apple, it's got more fibre than a bowl of whole wheat. But more than that, it's one of the only foodstuffs I know that is perfectly delicious just with a little bit of seasoning on its own, but will also bolster and take on and boost the flavours of anything else you put with it. The only other food that comes near to that, maybe pasta? Well, I don't know, pasta just with some salt and pepper doesn't sound too appealing to me, where some fries just with a whack of salt, that's going to be delicious. That's all you need. Okay, you can dip them if you want, but you don't need to. So today we're going to be celebrating this wonderfully diverse, healthy foodstuff. So just a little bit of background on the potato. I think it is from the American continent. I believe it's part of the deadly nightshade family as well, which means it needs to be cooked properly. It means you shouldn't eat the leaves or the stems or anything that grows above ground, as far as I'm aware. I'm not a food scientist, don't take my word for this. Please do your own investigation if you want to. And also, if it's exposed to sunlight, it can turn green, and that green pigmentation indicates toxins that should not be consumed. But all those things aside, as I said, it's a very healthy, delicious vegetable that should definitely be included on your plate as and when you can. Now, there are so many applications to the potato that I could make a video that goes on for days about the different ways to prepare it and maybe trying to find out which one is best, but it's going to be a very subjective experience, and I don't really think that would be showing the potato to its true potential. So what I'm going to do today is refer back to a point I mentioned earlier about the potato's amazing, almost magical ability to taste great on its own, but also to enhance the flavours of other things that are paired with it. So we're going to be cooking today 3 jacket potatoes, or baked potatoes, whatever you want to call them, with 3 very distinct different fillings, and then giving them a taste to find out how those very different fillings all work in the same essential product. Now, I say the same product, so let's talk about the potatoes we're going to be using. We're going to be using, as you may expect, standard white potato for baking. Now in that one there's going to be a hot and spicy filling. With our second white baking potato, we're going to put my take on a Big Mac burger filling. So you're talking ground beef, some fried onions, some chopped dill pickles, all those good beefy flavours. And then in my third potato, which some folks may protest to the naming of, I'm going to be doing a sweet and smoky filling. Now this potato is not your standard white potato. It could be argued it's not even a potato. It's known as a sweet potato. I know it's not part of the same family of vegetables. I know it grows differently. It grows on a vine, I think, and obviously potatoes are tubers that grow straight up. I know it tastes different. I know it's got different vitamin and mineral qualities. However, I am including it as a potato in this celebration for International Potato Day because all of the applications you could ascribe to a white potato You can also ascribe to a sweet potato. You can boil it, you can mash it, you can make a rosti, and in this case you can make a wonderful jacket potato or baked potato. And in doing this, I'm also going to show you how to make the perfect jacket potato. Now there are a few steps in here that cannot be deviated from, cannot be changed, so watch closely as we make the perfect jacket spuds. And with both your sweet and your standard potatoes, the first thing you're going to want to do is give them a good wash. And I find that with this particular variety of sweet potato, the skins don't make for very good eating. So I tend to leave that skin just wet from being washed and put it straight in the oven as it is. But with the white potatoes, you definitely want to dry them off as much as you can, because you're looking to get that wonderful crispy skin that's so good to eat with that fluffy white flesh. And next up, with those baking potatoes, you just want to make sure that you stab them on either side to let any steam that's produced during the cooking process escape, so your potatoes don't explode and then they're not ruined. And always making sure we keep those skins as dry as possible, because that is key to getting that lovely crispy texture that we're going to be looking for. And as I mentioned earlier, no such prep work needed for our sweet jacket. Once he's washed, he's good to go. And then, on a parchment-lined baking sheet, you want to rub a high-temperature, neutrally flavoured oil all over those white potatoes, and make sure you cover every single area of that skin. Again, that's really going to help with the crisping process. And once they're liberally coated in oil, you then want to smother them in salt. Now you're going to think you're adding too much, but trust me, you're not. You can brush off any excess at the end if you want to, but do make sure you add plenty. And I sometimes like to create a bed of salt for them to lay in as well while they're baking, because that really helps to draw out that moisture and really helps to get that contrast between a super crispy skin and a light, fluffy texture inside. And again, no such prep needed for our sweet jacket potato. He's very low maintenance. He's ready to go. And then all three of these guys go into a hot oven about 400 Fahrenheit for 2 hours, making sure we turn them over halfway through at the 1 hour stage. And once those 2 hours have elapsed, you should have something that looks rather like this. And as you can see, we've had a little bit of leakage on our sweet potato there. That's absolutely no problem at all. That almost always happens. It's just caramelization from all those lovely natural sugars. So don't worry about that in the slightest. And I'm just going to brush off some of the excess salt here, as you can see with my knife. As easy as that. And then you do want to get these white potatoes opened up as soon as possible to let all that steam out. Otherwise the innards can lose that kind of fluffy quality that you've spent all that time trying to create, and they can start to become a bit claggy. So make sure you open them up and let that steam escape so you get that wonderful fluffy texture. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be filling each of these potatoes with a different filling to showcase the versatility of the potato, but we're also going to give each of them the same basic seasoning with some salt, some pepper, and a little bit of butter. And then it's in with our fillings, starting with our Big Mac-esque filling for this potato. Followed by a nice hot and spicy filling for his neighbour. And last but certainly by no means least, our sweet and smoky filling for that lovely sweet jacket on the end there. And then these guys go back into that 400-degree oven for about another hour to make sure all those lovely fillings really get to mingle with that potato flesh. Now, this video is all about the potatoes, so we're not going to confuse things by giving you the recipes here for the fillings.
But fear not, if you are interested in any of the recipes for these fillings, check out our video on sausage poppers, which is where all the recipes for these fillings have come from, and I'll make sure there is a link to that at the end of this video.
Okay, so almost 3 hours later, and we're here, we're ready for the taste test. And it's got to be that 3 hours. The length of time plus the high temp with the oil and the salt is what makes these potatoes perfect. Fluffy on the inside, lovely and crispy on the outside. So we're going to start with our take on a Big Mac filling for this hot jacket spud. And just before we dive in, I just want to mention that we've topped this Big Mac-esque jacket spud off with a slice of American cheese and a sprinkling of black sesame seeds, just to give that real reminiscence of the burger and of the bun. So without any more chat, let's dive in and try this Big Mac burger jacket spud. Cheers. That is delicious. You've got your burger and your fries all in one bite, but you've got lots of other stuff going on there. The richness of that jacket potato, just because we laced it with a little bit of butter, really amplifies that kind of indulgent feeling of eating a Big Mac. It's satisfying. It really does connote that takeaway burger taste and feeling, but at the same time you're aware that you are eating a jacket potato. It's a marriage of experiences that tastes like it was made in heaven. And that potato is doing nothing except amplify the experience of eating a Big Mac, in my opinion. Fantastic. That's a win. Let's move on to the next one. So next up, and in the interests of not burning out my palate too early, we're going to go with the sweet and smoky one. And I've just topped this with some crispy sweet onions. Remember, this one was in a sweet jacket potato, which I think is just going to complement even better those sweet, smoky flavours. Cheers! My word, that is good. That's fantastic. I think it was a good call to use the sweet jacket potato here, because it's a different sort of sweetness to what we've got going on with the filling. Now, potatoes themselves also have inherent sweetness too. The starch is a sugar, therefore there is a level of sweetness going on there. Sweet potatoes, it's a different sort of sweetness. The sweetness in that filling is coming from maple syrup predominantly, but also from some sweet paprika and some sweet chorizo we've got in there as well. And what we've been attempting to do with that filling is build layers of smokiness and sweetness, so it's not just a linear experience when you eat it, it's not just sweet smoked on. I think we'd achieved that with the filling quite well. That sweet jacket potato takes it to the next level. Obviously the flesh is softer, so it kind of fills your palate a bit more, and it's filling it with that kind of sweet potato sweetness, for lack of a better term, along with all of those other flavours. It just works brilliantly. It's like they were meant to be together. It's, again, spot on. I'm very happy with the way that turned out. And just a little insider knowledge, this one is Mrs. Witter's favourite. And last up, but by no stretch of the imagination least by any metric you might be using to measure, it is the hot and spicy one. Now for this one, we've topped it with some more bird's eye chilies, and that should also add a little bit more crunch there as well that we're looking for, along with obviously that crunch from the skin of the jacket we're going to get there too. I'll save this one to last, as I said, because it might disrupt my palate for other tastings. So let's dive in. Cheers. Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that's absolutely delicious. If you've ever had the best chili con carne you've ever tasted in a jacket spud, that's pretty much what that tastes like. It is evoking meat, but I assure you there's no meat in there. It's got such a depth of chili flavour, coming from the 5 different types of chili we put in there, along with all the other spices we use to blend it. That's really coming through, but that's just talking about the filling. The potato is playing a crucial role in the enjoyment of this dish, because potatoes being 80% water, it's given no alleviation whatsoever from that hot chili spice. And if you like your food hot and spicy, you don't want alleviation. You want to feel those spices building on your palate. You want to feel the full experience. So the water content in the potato is actually adding to that experience, ensuring that all of your palate gets to experience all of the different nuances of those chilies, all of the different heats,
building in different stages, but also all of the different flavours, the fruitiness, the earthiness, the smokiness. And the potato is integral to that. That tastes entirely different to how it tasted in the sausage. Maybe it even tastes better? I don't know. Maybe you should make them and let me know in the comments. And so that's gonna about do it for us. That's how you make a perfect jacket spud. Obviously you can fill it with what you like. I've done it with these 3 very different flavour profile fillings here to demonstrate how a potato is so versatile it will adapt to all these flavour profiles and make them something better than their original selves. And I hope we've demonstrated that to you today. But thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in finding out how to make any of those fillings, check out our video on making sausage poppers, because the recipes for the fillings will be in that video. My name's Billy Buick. A very happy International Potato Day to you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss one of our videos. And we'll see you next time.
So, depending on when... sake. Are you serious? Just a little bit of background on the potato. I think it is from the American continent. I believe it's from... I believe there's a wasp. Sort off, please.